Brodes Media.
What is going on, everybody? If you are hearing this clip before the show starts, that means I'm on vacation. What I did prior to leaving is I recorded a bunch of interviews with fantastic guests, so you still had something to consume here on Brodes Media until I return. So if any news drop that's so massive and it's not incorporated into these conversations, I apologize. There's nothing I could do about it. But I wanted to at least give you something while I was away. I love you all. You're all fantastic. Subscribe if you're new. I love you. Enjoy the shows. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on to Schmoozed. It's been a while since I did a Schmoozed episode. We are joined by Jody Mack. He does it all. Brodes 365, WIP, National Sports Radio. You name it, he's done it. This is weird. I'm normally on your show, so I don't know what the fuck to do right now, but what's up?
I'm good, Hunter. I'm glad I get to return the favor. You've been good coming on Brodes 365 when we asked you. So when you asked me, I said, of course, I owe you, buddy. Whatever you need, I'll talk about whatever you need. And yes, usually I do the question asking rather than answering, but I think I'm capable of coming up with an answer or two for you.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we're on the same page, because once in a while, it seems like our heads butt with some things.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's cool. That's the beauty of this thing. So let's just fire some things off here with the Birds. And I guess as training camp starting to roll around, we're itching for some football. What's the number one thing that you're looking for when we finally get a chance to see this team compete?
Two things kind of jump out at me. Well, I should actually say three. The competition at right guard. I've gotten varied opinions. We get guys like yourself and Adam Kaplan and different Eagle media guys on a day in, day out basis. And people really do have different opinions on how the right guard is going to play out for the Eagles. Isaac Seumalo was, because he's surrounded by two guys who are probably going to the Hall of Fame. People, plug in anybody. Hey, those guys.
Yeah.
Isaac was a pretty damn good player. And I think he's going to be missed. I think it's going to be more difficult to replace him than some people are believing and or stating. I think Cam Jurgens is a very good player, and he'll be fine at right guard if they plug him in there for a year. If Kelsey doesn't come back after this year, and who the hell knows? I've been wrong about Kelsey 3 years running. This is it. Last year. This is it. One more. Enjoy Jason Kelsey because he's going to be gone, and he's just never gone. So I don't know how you handle Jurgens going forward. Yeah, he's the center of the future, but Isaac was the center of the future, and then Dickerson was the center of the future. Now we're on to Beef Jerky, and he's going to be the center of the future. We just don't know when. If Steen is up to speed, I think the Eagles would really prefer to go there because he could be their right guard for the next 2 years, 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. If Jurgens is better, they're going to play him there because that's what Stoutland does. He's not going to play favorites. He liked the Eagles, and I knocked the Eagles for this. You know this. Last year, they should have and could have and should have gotten the Kobe Dean more time. The Eagles don't do that. The Eagles play the best guy that day. We're going to win the game. We only worry 1 week in advance. I think that they may actually lean toward the future a little bit and go against what they usually do. If Steen is as good, he's the starter. If Jurgens is better, they won't worry about the future of him moving back to center. He'll be their right guard. I think it's as intriguing a positional battle as Eagles will have in camp this year.
Wow, how about that? Talk about the sexy stuff when it comes to the sport, huh? The big guys in the middle.
Right into the trenches. Well, that's what the Eagles concentrate on. So if we're following their lead, that's where we got to go.
I know, and it makes me laugh, too, because there's so many teams out there. When you watch them, let's say it's a bye week or something, right? Or I don't know, the Eagles play at 1 and you're catching the Sunday night football game, and you see these teams that just have disaster in the trenches. Don't you look and study and see what works? It's a copycat league. How long have we been saying that? Go get the big fellas. Go to Alabama. Go get the talent. I don't know. Is it easier than I'm making it out to be, or am I making it easier than it actually is? Jeff Stoutland's a magician. Maybe that's a part of this.
I love it when I do this to myself all the time, answer my own question. We have Jeff Stoutland. Others don't. So I'm not saying that other teams don't figure it out and have the ability to go, oh, shoot, we got to get better in the lines. I'm sure they do, but they don't have as master a tutor as the Eagles do. Stoutland is the best offensive line coach in football, bar none. So, yes, the Eagles prioritize it. They put resources toward it. but they've also got the best teacher in the game, so that's why they continue to have the best offensive line in football.
Absolutely. All right, so here's a question. Who do you think is going to make a bigger impact on this squad when looking at both coordinators? Is it Sean Desai? And I hated Gannon. All right, all year long, I convinced myself that, well, the numbers are the numbers, and you got to believe it. The dude's a fraud. I can't stand it. The guy's a loser. But I look at Brian Johnson and his relationship with Jalen Hurts, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be incredible. So who do you think is going to have the bigger impact?
I'll make a weird comparison for you. As a
Okay.
talk show host, you understand this type stuff. Jonathan Gannon was like Kyle Schwarber leading off. You look at it, you don't understand it. The numbers say this shouldn't work. And then at the end of the day, you look up the scoreboard. Oh, shoot, Phillies won again with Schwarber leading off. You can't get past that. That's the most important thing is they win games with Schwarber leading off, even if you can't wrap your head around it. Same thing with Gannon. I know he didn't blitz. I know he was kind of boring and talking to the media and the like, and not a whole hell of a lot of personality. And they got 70 sacks last year. That should be what you should cut. You want to look at a number, look at 70 sacks. You want to look at more numbers, number 2 overall defense, number 1 against the pass. All right, he doesn't do it the way most Philadelphia Eagle fans want it, which is uber aggressive and blitzing every opportunity you get. That's not Jonathan Gannon. Guess what? It's not going to be Sean Desai this year either. Eagles going to play a very similar defense to the one they played. So much like you and others will learn to despise Sean Desai pretty quickly, would be my guess. I think they're going to have a much tougher time replacing the play calling of Shane Steichen. He was just tremendous at it. From the time that the head coach turned it over to him, I think he's been tremendous at play calling, one of the best in the NFL. I don't know what Brian Johnson's going to be able to do as far as play calling. Calling plays for Florida is not the same as calling them for the Eagles in the NFL. No, he's got a great relationship with Jalen. No, he was a big part of it and on all of the meetings, contributing to putting the game plan together during the week. But in the moment, 40-second clock is ticking. You got to make that call, come up with just that right play. I hope Brian Johnson is really good at it. I don't know that he will be. So I'm actually more, let's say, concerned going into the season that it's going to be tougher to replace Steichen than it is Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, that's interesting because you would think just by looking at, Nick Sirianni, he has his hands all over the offense. It's really his. So maybe you're not as concerned with OC because majority of this stems from who the head coach is, who's returning. But you're right. When you're on the sidelines, the adrenaline's kicking. You're at the link. It's the fourth quarter. It's a 1-score game. You need to go on a drive. It's a lot different when you're in the thick of it and you can feel the crowd's angst and you can tell that it's some nervous energy. You better dial this thing up the right way. But I'm fully into the mindset of I'm in love with the hype and I'm believing in the hype of what those two can do together. And with Jalen Hurts, right? So that transitions into Jalen. Is it more about growth for Jalen Hurts at this rate? Are you expecting him to get better at the craft and improve more? Or is it more really just about the consistency? And you brought in Schwarber. I'll bring in Embiid. Every year, and ironic enough, I'm bringing his name up now, but every year it was always about, can he get better? And I'm like, I don't know. He's already great. And then there were some things that he did improve on each year. And it's like, I didn't know he had that in him. So is there still another step for Hurts, or is it more just about being able to do it year after year, week after week with him?
Don't know if it annoyed you the way it annoyed me going into last season when there were doubters out there for Jalen Hurts, one of which was the Philadelphia Eagles themselves, since they looked into Russell Wilson, looked into Deshaun Watson, the whole narrative. Oh, the Eagles knew Jalen Hurts was going to be great. No, they hoped Jalen Hurts was going to be. They didn't know. If they knew Jalen Hurts was going to be great, they would not have inquired about Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson. So,
and real quick, I remember I was on the record. I absolutely 1,000% would have went and got Russell Wilson. I would have.
Depending on the cost, I probably would have too.
Yeah.
Even though I was one of few who on draft night said, "Hey, nice pick of Jalen Hurts in the second round." Well,
that wasn't me.
What the hell? We just gave Carson Wentz all that money. He was a safety net who turned into a superstar. Good on Howie Roseman for that one. Here's my only concern with Jalen Hurts going in, and it's not a big one coming into this season because, annoyed the snot out of me last year going into your oh, he's never going to be accurate. Jalen Hurts just isn't accurate. Look at the numbers. He's not accurate. You can improve your accuracy. If you work hard enough at it, if you've got a good system, if you've got, oh, I don't know, A.J. Brown to throw to, who goes up and gets every available ball for you and makes you look better, you can improve your accuracy, which is absolutely what Jalen did. Here's my only concern. His accuracy is going to be great. His arm strength, as I said all along, is fine. Does he have Jeff George's arm, the best arm in the NFL? No. Fine. It's average to above average. And when you've got everything else in place like the Eagles do, offense, quarter, weapons, offensive line, oh, you can be really good, as in like runner up for the MVP. His arm strength is perfectly fine. Here's the only thing I have at least a worry and a wonder about Hunter. He's coming off this season where he was in the lead for the MVP with 4 weeks to go. Yeah, Mahomes went by him. Mahomes got it. He deserved it. Fine. Everybody wants a piece of Jalen Hurts now. Commercials, endorsements, media sessions. Jalen's a good dude. He's not a diva. He's not a guy who's just going to out of hand deny it. No. We can't do. We know how dedicated he is. We know how hard worker is. We know how much he understands practice and dedication to your craft is important. But he's also a superstar now. And from time to time, superstars get tasked to do certain things, representing the team, representing themselves. He's making a lot of money, but everybody can make more money. You got commercials to shoot and everything else. That's the only thing that scares me about Jalen Hurts coming into the season. Attitude, great. Talent, great. Everybody around him, great. Relationship with the coaching staff, great. Is he going to be a little bit too in demand? That's one thing that I think will be interesting leading into the season if there isn't another step up. With the gigantic step up he took last year, you can't expect that kind of step up again. If he holds firm with where he's at, that should be good enough for the Eagles to win the NFC again this year. But is Jalen Hurts going to be a little bit too in demand? That's the one thing that makes me a little nervous.
Well, it's nothing a little Anita Baker can't fix. You throw it in the AirPods before the game, you get yourself locked in, and you're ready to rock. I don't know. That seems to be what flows for him. I have no idea. It's the last thing I would put on in my headphones, you know what I mean? But, all right, so on Twitter, I started this new thing. It's kind of like confirm or deny. So I make a statement, and you confirm or deny it, or I call it in or out. You're in with the statement, you're out with the statement. I'm going to throw the three out there to you and get your thoughts. Jalen Hurts is a top 2 quarterback. Now, that was from Dallas Goedert with what he said on Part of My Take. I had him at top 4. Am I crazy? I went with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know if you heard of him or not. I went with Joe Burrow, and then I went with Aaron Rodgers. I'm not building out for 7-8 years here. I'm just saying strictly if Aaron Rodgers was on this football team, I think he got a great shot at doing this thing. So that was my 3, and 4 was Jalen Hurts. Are you in or out on Jalen Hurts, top 2 quarterback?
Oof. Out. I'd be with you. I'd have him 3, 4, 5, somewhere thereabouts. I like the fact that you put Rodgers up that high because I'm already on record. My prediction for this season is an all-green Super Bowl, Eagles against the Jets come February. Already have some money laid down on that, as a matter of fact. 80-1 if the Eagles beat the Jets, 90-1 if the Jets beat the Eagles. So I'm already in on that, and I hope you're right about Rodgers and him being a fit in New York. They got some talented wide receivers. Jets are going to be good.
And the defense.
Rodgers, Allen, and Jalen are right there. I certainly rate him ahead of Herbert. Some people love Justin Herbert. I like him a lot. He's a really good quarterback, but can he win a playoff game before we put him ahead of Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts went to the Super Bowl last year. So Mahomes number 1, Burrow number 2, Allen, Rodgers, Jalen, all together 3, 4, 5. You can put them in whatever order they want. But to answer your question, I'm out because I'm sorry, Joe Burrow has had a more productive career to this point than Jalen Hurts has.
Okay, second one. Brandon Graham will record double-digit sacks this season. In or out?
Good question.
I went out. So I think it'll probably be, and you look back at some of his stats, he flirts around 8 sacks per year. I think we get and remember, there's the Nolan Smith factor. You're getting younger on the line and all that stuff. But I would say he probably logs in around 8. That's a great season. We talk next year this same time, and I say, hey, BG got 8.5. We're pumped with that, I would think.
Right. He had a career year last year. Can he do that again? You're right. Nolan Smith is going to get some run on that side. I think people are going to be disappointed in Nolan Smith because I think he's going to get less run than some people think, but he's going to get some. Yeah, I'm with you, Hunter. I'm out. Just not like he's going to get 4, but under 10. Yeah, I think he's probably slightly under, so I'd be out with you.
Okay, this is the last one of in and out. Sidney Brown will start at least 6 games. In or out?
I'll say out because the way that he gets to start more than 6 games is one of the Eagles' starting safeties, at least on paper right now, get hurt.
All right, but so you don't think that there's a way he beats out a Blankenship? Because I think Edmonds, I like Edmonds. I think playing for Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, there's something to that. He can hold the fort down. But there's some speculation that they really love this kid, and he brings that fire and that edge that would be awesome.
The only reason why Blankenship played last year was because of injury, because the safeties got hurt. Nakobe Dean got 32 snaps. 32 snaps last year as a rookie. The Eagles don't just throw rookies into the deep end of the pool. They like to develop them. They like to have them come along. If there's injuries, then yeah, he's going to be the first safety off the bench, and he's going to play in certain sets where they've got 3 safeties on the field at the same time. But starting, no, I don't think he's going to start all that many games this year if the Eagles stay healthy at the position. And oh, by the way, Brown get hurt. Can't start if you're hurt. So if Blankenship's going to get hurt, yeah, he might. Edmonds might get hurt, yeah, he might. But Brown might get hurt too. So who knows? My guess would be no, he doesn't get that many starts. Just basically on the fact that if you're judging Sirianni and the staff, and I know there were some changes on the staff, but they're willing to go slow with rookies, and I think they will be with Brown as well.
The injury thing, though, is crazy because last year, sometimes I feel fans take it for granted. That made no sense, okay? To be in the Super Bowl, to have all those starters available, that's not the norm. That's not reality. And to duplicate that, it doesn't mean that they can't go win it because the year they won it made no sense. They were depleted all over the roster, and everyone they plugged in did a damn good job, and they were able to actually hoist the Lombardi. So it's just ironic how it plays out. It's crazy to think about how long they were able to stay upright with their starters. It is a tall thing to follow up, and it concerns me a bit. It does. But it seems like out of all franchises, there's something about the way that, I don't know if it's Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox, but that core group that's been there, there's always a response when it falls apart, except for when Carson Wentz was back there. And was it Brown who came off the street who was fixing his glove while Carson Wentz was getting sacked? That was the one year they had no answers. But other than that, they seem to respond to that level of adversity well.
Well, it sounds to me like, Hunter, you're not buying the Eagles built the better mousetrap last year, where less is more as far as work goes and practice time and pads on at practice. No, we don't need any of that stuff. We'll stay healthier before it because of it. And I just shake my head day in and day out going, yeah, practice. Why would you want to practice? Why would you want to get ready for a season by actually playing football? But damn if they didn't get less hurt than anybody else in the National Football League. So maybe they get it. Maybe they're smarter than me. I had to go with the mea culpas this year going, yeah, the Eagles really stayed healthy. If you want to buy the due, they're due to get hurt, I guess you can. But I'll be a little optimistic and go, yeah, maybe less is more. And the Eagles do have the right way of doing things, prepping for a season.
Well, they do say over a 5-year span, if the injuries are not so bad one year, the next year, like it all evens out over the 5 years. It just, you don't know which way it's going to flow each season. And yeah, look, they were healthy as hell. I don't think that if you did that same offseason, every single offseason, that you're going to stay that healthy. It worked out, but to say that's going to happen every single time, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It's just wild to think about, and sometimes it's just luck and whatnot. Let's go to, and speaking of luck and health, the running backs. Who's going to be the top dog out of this core? All right, is it Swift? Is it Penny? Is he going to stay upright and be able to take the rock and run behind this line? You're not big on Gainwell. I am. I can't believe you. Who's the running back this year?
Yeah, I believe you like way too many other people. Oh, Kenny Gainwell really came on in the playoffs. One playoff game against the Giants. He was great.
It was great.
It was great. He was great against the Giants.
Great.
He didn't do all that much against San Francisco. He didn't do much in the Super Bowl. He did
Well, you
more
were
than
kicking
he
ass
did.
anyway. You didn't
He
need him
did
to.
more than Miles did, but that doesn't mean he did all that great himself. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Gainwell. It's going to be either Penny or Swift. Here's the question: could Jalen Hurts lead the Eagles in rushing this year? He didn't
Yes.
last year because Miles was the main guy and got 85% of the carries. It is going to be by committee. It is going to be shared. It's going to be the hot hand between the running backs. But could Jalen actually outrush all of them? Because it's going to be shared. People are worried. People want, oh, now that he's making all that money, you got to protect him more. You can't let him run as much. Sirianni's pretty on record saying, why would I take away his superpower? If he can run the ball and make big plays for us and move those chains, I'm not going to ask him to do less just because he's making more money. I think there's an outside chance that Jalen Hurts leads this team in rushing yards this year, which I don't know how that's going to go over with Eagle Nation.
How do you feel about that, though? You personally, you okay with it? Because I don't want to take away from his strengths. If he's so good, and this is what makes other teams nervous when they're putting together a game plan all week, they got it highlighted, be afraid of this guy. If you make it more one-dimensional, aren't you making it easier for the other team? Now, you can't be stupid, and you can't just go run around freely and take all these shots, but I don't know if Jalen Hurts as a stupid quarterback. I think he's a very, very smart, intelligent quarterback who normally puts himself in great position. So it's not like it's someone I don't trust out there in Jalen. I think he knows how to play this role.
You and I are in lockstep on this one, Hunter. In Jalen, we trust. If you don't, and the Eagles have Michael Vick when he was here, he was a highlight film waiting to happen, but A, he couldn't slide, got awful at it, and B, yeah, I think when the clock was ticking down in his head, his first decision, run. When in doubt, run. I don't believe Jalen does that. I think Jalen sticks with his progressions and he wants to throw the football and he only throws when he realized I've reached last resort. Now I got to go. And when he does, he goes and he's effective. I don't think that changes. I don't think he does it anymore. I don't think he does it any less. I think he'll stay to the same level that he was at last year. I'm good with it. He's smart. He does know how to slide. Yeah, he got hurt on a play in the pocket last year. That's not his fault. He got driven to the turf by the Chicago defensive player. That's not on him. He didn't get hurt running the football last year. So I got faith that he'll run it a similar amount of times in similar ways, and it'll be very effective for the Eagles this season.
All right, here's my last question, and it's a little random, but I was thinking about it when you brought up the name Sirianni. How do you feel about his personality? You like it? Do you think it's irrelevant? It's just all about winning games. I don't care if you're Bill Belichick or Sirianni on the sidelines. But, a lot of the league and a lot of other fans, when they see some of his antics on the sidelines and he's screaming at the fans, standing up on the bench and whatnot, does it matter or, is it a little foolish? It works. I think he's authentic and it relates to the players and the locker room responds to it. And that's really all I care about. But sometimes I just shake my head and go, how the hell does this work? I love the guy. It's phenomenal. I'm sure a lot of fans eat it all up because it's different, it's unique, and it's ours. But sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what to say. It's like, what the hell is this? Whatever it is, it's funny, but what the hell is this?
It works for him. And more importantly, it works for the Eagles. They buy into it. They are dedicated to him. They go out and bust it for him when he makes impassioned speeches in the locker room. I believe he's reaching his players, and that's all that matters. Jalen Hurts' favorite phrase of rat poison, outside the locker room noise. Sirianni doesn't let it bother him, and the Eagles last year were very good at not letting it bother any of them either. So keep doing what you're doing, Coach. If it's working for at some point when the Eagles falter and come back 8-9 when expectations are higher, then he's going to come back under the microscope. But getting this team to the Super Bowl last year with doing it the way he did it, keep doing it, Coach. As long as the W's are coming in, your pals in the media here in Philadelphia will defend you, and his players will defend them all the way to the wall.
Yeah, you're right, though. It's easy when you're winning a lot of
when
football
you're winning,
games.
yeah, it's just him being Sirianni. It's him being emotional. If you're 8-9 and you're doing that stuff, they're going, what the hell is he doing? He's embarrassing himself for the organization. The worm could turn, but right now the worm's in a fine position.
Yeah, you're seeing that happen with Joel Embiid, so I guess it can happen to everybody. With that, Jody, Mac, I appreciate it, man. This was fun. We should do it again sometime.
Anytime, Hunter. My pleasure. Thanks much for having me on.